Kenya's engagement with Somaliland has entered a delicate new phase. In May 2025, Somaliland, the self-declared republic in Northern Somalia, opened a liaison office building right here in Nairobi. The move drew attention across the Horn of Africa and raised difficult questions about Kenya's foreign policy balancing act. On one hand, Kenya continues to affirm Somalia's territorial integrity, recognizing Mogadishu as the legitimate government of a united Somalia. On the other hand, Kenya's growing ties with Somaliland signal Nairobi's interest in securing new trade routes, enhancing security cooperation, and expanding its regional influence. So where does this leave Kenya-Somaliland relations? Let's unpack it. About Kenya-Somaliland relations, or as I like to call it, a diplomatic situationship. You know, when it's not a full-on relationship, but it's also not just friendship. Like, we're not official, but he still picks me up from the airport. Well, that's kind of where Kenya and Somaliland are right now.
President of Somaliland, Musa Bihi Abdi, is scheduled for a state visit to Kenya.
The Kenyan government has given the green light to Somaliland to set up a liaison office in Nairobi,
marking a bold step in its diplomatic presence in East Africa.
And we respect these people because they are very, very strategic.
Kenya has always been curious. In 2020, President Uhuru Kenyatta hosted Somaliland's president in Nairobi. In 2024, Somaliland's leader met with President William Ruto too. In May 2025, Somaliland opened a brand new liaison office in Nairobi. There was a ribbon-cutting ceremony, speeches, even a big Kenyan delegation present.
I cut the ribbon. The embassy is open.
But then, plot twist. Kenya's foreign ministry goes, hold up. This isn't an embassy. We still recognize Somalia as one united country.
This is a very, very tight diplomatic rope that Kenya finds itself in, because the timing was also very suspect. Because you'd remember this is coming just a few months after that very controversial port deal between Kenya, between Ethiopia and Somaliland. And we saw the regional implications that had. It is also coming at a time when we are hearing reports that the United States might actually be warming up to the idea of recognizing Somaliland. And so from that point of view, it becomes very hard to sort of, differentiate between the mere symbolism and the strategic angle.
So is Kenya playing both sides, or is this just smart diplomacy? Let's unpack it.
Let's go.
Somaliland is a semi-autonomous region in northern Somalia. They broke away from Somalia in 1991 after a brutal civil war. Since then, they've had their own president, parliament, currency, even biometric passports. But not a single country officially recognizes them. And yet, Somaliland is arguably more stable and peaceful than many recognized countries. Kenya is walking a diplomatic tightrope. On one hand, Nairobi wants to keep good relations with Mogadishu, especially after past tensions over oil-rich ocean borders and Miraa bans. But on the other hand, Somaliland has stuff Kenya wants. It has a prime port in Berbera, which is a potential gateway to Ethiopia and the Red Sea, as well as security intel, especially against Al-Shabaab. Think of it like a business partner you really like, but your boss doesn't approve. So you work together off the books. So why all the drama about this one little office in Nairobi? because opening a liaison office looks like one step towards official recognition.
We have been fighting to be a member state of the international community for the last 34 years, and we will continue that.
And to Somalia, that's a red line.
Somalia has been consistent in terms of rejecting any move towards recognizing Somaliland, and it has shown a resolve to act very strongly on that matter, including, inviting external security players. From a strategic point of view, that could lead to serious security implications, and so it simply, I think, in my opinion, does not make any sense to move towards that direction.
Now, zoom out. Ethiopia just signed a deal with Somaliland to use the Berbera port and establish naval access. That move angered Somalia, and it made Kenya look at Somaliland with fresh eyes.
They will become the first state to recognize Somaliland after the signing of this MOU.
If Ethiopia insists, Somalia will resist and will refuse.
So is Kenya officially recognizing Somaliland? The official answer is no, but unofficially, they're flirting hard.
Kenya has employed a very pragmatic foreign policy over the issue, carefully maintaining diplomatic relations with Somalia, whilst maintaining a level of engagement with Somaliland, although this does not amount to formal recognition of Somaliland's independence. And I think this has been driven by strategic considerations, like it would be in the interests of Kenya to have a stable actor like Somaliland within the Horn of Africa for security considerations. We could also talk about the potential economic benefits that come with engaging with Somaliland.
But in a region where borders are fragile, this isn't just about Somaliland. It's about setting a precedent in Africa. If Somaliland is recognized, what about other breakaway regions like in Ethiopia or Cameroon? It could open a Pandora's box.
Giving some sort of formal or informal recognition to some of these separatist groups does indeed open a Pandora's box that risk violating African Union principles of maintaining colonial era boundaries for the stability of the region. Countries like Kenya or Ethiopia may show significant attention towards Somaliland, but remember, such a move would be in violation of African Union principles and even international principles. And so within the international community, I think there has been some sort of realization that any form of recognition should start with the African Union itself. But even within the African Union, there are serious and genuine concerns that such a move would inspire other secessionist movements across the African continent. And so once that starts to play out within the broader politics in Africa, it becomes really hard to find some sort of consensus towards the recognition of Somaliland.
So is Kenya making a diplomatic mistake or quietly rewriting the rules of engagement in East Africa?